too many books to fit in the frame. How cool is that? Hey, it's Care. Welcome to my Take at the Lake. Happy Thrifty Thursday, hosted by Sheree at Turquoise Dreaming. Thank you for the hashtag. Open collaboration, which means if you have some stuff to share that you got at a screaming good deal or for free, nothing more thrifty than free, I think, you can use the hashtag. Tag Sheree at Turquoise Dreaming, because she likes to see what everyone else is using her hashtag for, and we can find you easy when we're looking for thrifty good deals that other people got. Most of this is from my library's free table. They have a free table out front. They give all kinds of things away. They give away this little magazine about what's new in the book reading world. They give away, right now they've got a huge table full of free COVID tests. You know, the ones that expired last year, but the FDA has expanded their expiry date. So ignore the expiration dates on your COVID test, which is funny because I just purged a while back and threw away, I think 4 boxes, maybe 5 boxes that I didn't use over the 2020 to when they expired in 2022. Anyway, they're giving away free COVID tests if you want to pick those up. They have all kinds of events so you can pick up what's happening. They also have free books and sometimes free magazines, but not usually, which is sad. I'm hoping to talk to them about that and maybe set something up where they have more free magazines, like a magazine swap or something. So all of this was 100% free. Free, and it doesn't get better than that. A lot of these are to read. Some of them are to play with, and I didn't get them all in one fell swoop. When I walk Bitsy in her little tail wagon, we walk to the library and check the free table, and days and days and days will go by where nothing changes, and then all of a sudden there's some cool stuff. There's also one of those beautiful little tiny free libraries right outside the library that people bring a book, share a book, take a book, leave a book kind of thing. So I found a couple of these in there as well. This one I got because I absolutely love the black and purple cover. Midnight Beauties, Creepy Old Castle. And I was hoping that that might be on the cover. It is not, but I love a black, just a simple, clean black cover. And it's got silver writing and a little castle. So I can easily cover that up and the author's name and just have some kind of Midnight Beauties junk journal of some sort. I don't know. And I have recently been making junk journals, soft-sided junk journals out of dust jackets, just by putting in a little piece or 2 or 3 so it's nice and thick and hardy cardboard or chipboard as a spine, and then taking some, I can see some wonderful dark spider webby, I still have Halloween on the brain, but something dark and sparkly material, and covering that so that it's, even though it's paper, it's strong because that material will reinforce it. So that's what I like to know what people are going to do with this stuff, because it doesn't help me to see, oh yeah, you got a bunch of free stuff. Good for you. As a new junk journaler, I wanted to know, what are you going to do with it? So for those of you who are not new to my channel or not new to junk journaling, bear with me while I explain it, because I never know who's listening. It might be someone who's brand new, tipping their toes into the junk journaling adventure, and they have no idea what I'm going to do with dust jackets or old books. This I can make into an altered book pretty easily. I think it's a little bit small. I like to take paper, fold it in half, and stick it in a cover, and it is just a whisper too small for that. So if I made an altered book, I'd have to trim, and that kind of irritates me, so I probably won't do that. I can take the text block out. Ooh, and look at, it's purple in there. Oh, that's like a bonus. Look at that. That's awesome. All kinds of things to do with a beautiful plain black book and the dust cover. If you don't want to make a soft-sided, and I love these because they have built-in pockets, you know, for tucks and whatnot. Just take your material and cover that up as well. And this one's got a sort of a leathery, buttery, soft. It's a beautiful dust jacket. So there's lots of potential in this as well. If you don't want to make a journal out of it, cut the words out, cut the clip art out, cut the castle out. Really nice owl. Grim Lovelies. I bet you that one's pretty too. The Alchemist. Classic literature. I've never read it. I read primarily non-fiction, and this is fiction and even sort of fantasy. It's kind of a fable, which is right up there with poetry. Sometimes I don't get it. Or what else? Mythology is lost on me. I mean, I get the point. I get it. I don't get the obsession with it. But I've always thought it'd be cool to read, and for free, why not? And I like books that have the insights in the back and interviews and more, book club questions quite often, an interview with the author to get more insight about the book. There's a nice intro from the author about the book. So for free, I'm excited to read it. John Grisham. Not a big fan of John Grisham, but I like to read things that are fast reads, and he's very popular for a reason. He tells a good story. I'm trying to find things that I can read at night that won't make my brain go on overdrive. If I read a how-to book or a nonfiction book or something in my area of what I do, my brain just kicks into overtime and I just want to do it. I just want to get up and write my own book, and I just want to take notes, and I want to do the thing. So I'm looking for stories that I can just read and fall asleep to quiet my brain down. I'm not going to be a lawyer. I'm not going to write legal fiction, legal thrillers. So maybe it'll work. I don't know. If not, I could put it back in the free library. The Blind Assassin. I've never heard of it. Winner of the Booker Prize, but Margaret Atwood I have heard of. Handmaid's Tale. Phenomenal book. Hugely popular miniseries or Netflix series or whatever it was. She's a phenomenal storyteller, and again, for free, I'm excited to read it. And I like things that are very meta, a thing within a thing or a thing about the thing. So this is a book. And The Blind Assassin is a novel that someone in the book is writing. So throughout the book is a book within the book. And that kind of stuff just makes me happy. So I'm excited to read this. The first great novel of the new millennium. This one does not have the insights and the interviews in the back, but that's all right. And I love the size of a book and soft covers. I picked this one up primarily for this matte, this is very shiny cover. This one is not, but it's got that buttery feel too. Toil and Trouble. Augustin Burroughs, he wrote a memoir called Running with Scissors that was hugely popular in the 90s. He's very funny, but in a dry sort of way, like a dry, sarcastic humor. What was that saying in the 90s? Snarky. And I love snark. It runs through my veins and it's in my DNA. So I'm excited to read this one as well as have this one. Again, another beautiful black cover. If I choose to Toil and Trouble, wouldn't that be a great altered book for the Halloween season? Speaking of that, I didn't even get out during that whirlwind of Halloween that we did over the weekend. I have a Spells and Potions book that I put away last year that I wanted to start this year. We didn't even talk about that. So something like this would be great for that as well, but it's probably going to end up being one of my favorite reads. So I probably won't be using it in the junk journaling ride. All right, free table. Love that. Sharp Objects, a witty, stylish, and compelling debut, a real winner from Harlan Coben. Not a small deal for your first book to be reviewed positively by Harlan Coben. Of course, their publishers always send it to them and say, hey, you like this book? Give us a good review. Looky here. Stephen King also loved this book. To say this is a terrific debut novel is really too mild. I haven't read such a relentlessly creepy family saga since John Ferris's All Heads Turn as the Hunt Goes By. And that was 30 years ago, give or take. Sharp Objects is one of those scare and retreat books. Its effect is cumulative. I found myself dreading the last 30 pages or so, but was helpless to stop turning them. Then, after the lights were turned out, the story just stayed there in my head, coiled and hissing like a snake in a cave. admirably nasty piece of work, elevated by sharp writing and sharper insights. A love letter from Stephen King. It doesn't get better than that, except for a free book that wasn't donated by a smoker. To me, it just seems like readers are very smart people. Readers should be too smart to smoke. But this book stinks to beat hell, so I have had it crammed in my window, between the window and the screen, with bounce sheets in it for days. I keep changing the location of the bounce sheets and changing the location of the window just in case I might get more sunshine or more breeze or whatever. But fresh air and sunshine, it is smelling better, but dang. This interesting cover, black and red. Now this one I think is a little bit too big. I'm kind of like Goldilocks with my, if I fold a piece of paper in half, it's way too big. It would swim in this cover, so this is not a good junk journal cover for me. It would be a beautiful altered book, but I think, again, it's probably going to be one of my favorite reads, so I won't be tearing it up. Sharp Objects by Gillian or Gillian, depending on how she was raised, Flynn. Speaking of Harlan Coben, The Woods. I've read a couple of his books, and they're pretty good. He's very popular. Again, I sound like a snob, but I just don't read fiction very often. It has to be a screamingly good fiction book for me to be jazzed about it. Sounds interesting. About 4 teenagers at a summer camp walked into the woods at night. 2 were found murdered. The others were never seen again. 4 families had their lives changed forever. Now 2 decades later, they're about to change again. So it's, even though it's fiction, it's very true crimey, which we all know is my gig. I love true crime. Even though this is fictional, it sounds like a fun read. One of the more ingenious new plots around, an intricate and satisfying book from the New York Times. So I'm in. For free? Yes, please. My mom brought me this from the Senior Citizen Center because of the beautiful clip art. She thought, there's some really pretty stuff in there, like a little happy birthday. That's cute. Some beautiful fall stuff. Some interesting clip art for color glue books or health trackers, or so there's lots in there. She also brought me some magazines she found for free at the Senior Citizen Center. She knows I've been looking for fall things for a project Amy at Doki Doki Forest and I are concocting, and I love my mom. She's all in. She's on the lookout. Lots of good things. I've never seen this magazine before. You know, we all know I don't get out much. I love the stack of wood. You know, there's all kinds of things. Of course, I see a Beasley first thing. Aw, him in his little Halloween costume. Look how cute he is. So cute. They are so patient with us. Oh, yeah. Let's just take a deep breath for a second and enjoy that beautiful water. As Janet Nash says, take a deep breath. Soak that in. Lovely. Oh, black M&Ms. Really? You can get black M&Ms. What year is this? Fall of 2020, you could get black M&Ms. And, of course, black Jelly Bellies. Scared Silly. How fun. So lots of harvesting joy. Ooh, some vintage goodies. Look at that. Check out that salt and pepper collection, I think. Yeah, salt and pepper shakers. Oh, so kitschy. Wow. All I see is stuff to dust. No, thank you. It's adorable. No, thank you. But look at all the vintage pictures. I have these. My grandma had these hanging on her stove, and I have them. That's so fun. I have a Grandma and Me book, so I'll have to make sure to mark it. And there's pages of them and pages of them. Grandma had these, too. Not mud pot. A little coffee grinder and a little teapot and a coffee pot, and I have those. Some of my favorite things in the whole world. What a great magazine. HGTV, all kinds of fun stuff. Oh, look at for the blue page, more blue pumpkins. I was just talking about blue pumpkins, and you don't see those often. Check that out. That's what happens. Universe is always listening. So make sure you pay attention to the things that run through your head and come out your mouth. Blue pumpkins. Look at those forks. They're branches. Oh, that's fantastic. That's a good ad. I love that. Fun stuff. So 2 HGTV magazines and 2 book page. These are the free book magazines I said that are available at the library. Look at these wonderful, colorful birds. Blackbirds? Crows? I don't know, but they're yummy. And then, of course, inside, lots of great words to cut out for glue books. Artist trading cards, ATCs, iCads, index card a day, postcard art, bookmark art, lots of great little words and little pictures and tiny little clip art. So don't poo-poo something like this because it's not a shiny $6 magazine. There's lots in stuff like this and that senior citizens brochure to harvest for free for your projects. The Great Pumpkin Switch. I got this one library pocket. You know, that's always a bonus. But it has absolutely gorgeous watercolor paintings throughout. A bit of a Norman Rockwell feel. I thought this would make a great fall Halloween glue book. Glue things over it. Keep the stuff that I like, but glue over the story. It would make a great altered book. If you want to cut it up, beautiful images. Oh dear, a smashed kerplumpkin. Good for the peas. Look at that beautiful horse. So yummy. Nice burnt pumpkin end papers. Very pretty. Tulips. The time I went and I got this, there was probably 30 different coffee table size books like this. This is huge. About 12.5 by 11. And they were all featuring different artists. And I was whining to Amy at Doki Doki Forest. God, I wish I had a proper library. I would have taken them all to have all those artists' books. Oh, they were so pretty. This is the only one I brought home. And we all know I'm sort of anti-botanical and butterfly, but the pictures in here are just phenomenal. Close-ups and gorgeous. So we can cut these out. Fussy cut them for a yellow glue book or a gardening journal or a botanical or something that has yellow in it. But the pictures were just, I couldn't resist this book at all. Wow, this reminds me of a Georgia O'Keeffe painting. It seemed to me in the back, maybe? Yeah. Can you say inchy or twinchy or whatever? Just cut out all those things. ATCs aplenty. There's 2 pages of smaller versions of every picture in this book. Oh, the water on there. Gorgeous. I have no idea exactly what I'm going to do with it, except, like I said, use the inchies and twinchies, the little square pictures I just showed you, cut out for some of my glue book projects or my altered book projects. I will fussy cut it. I'll cut it up and put it out. Oh, that would go great in my it was a plethora of peonies, but now I'm just kind of looking at opera. There will be other opera colored flowers in there. That would go good in there. Yeah, and I thought there were some black and white illustrations. I mean, the book is just loaded with junk journal yumminess. And there's always a favorite that I keep for the end, and this is it. It's called End of an Era, The Last of the Great Lakes Steamboats. And there's a long story behind it. I'm going to do a full flip through of this on a flip through Friday one of these days soon. But most of the men, except my dad, in our family and our circle of friends, all work on the boats. This is what we call the boats. Great Lakes freighters. This is a Huron cement freighter. Inland Lakes, it's called Inland Lakes now. But typically most of what they do is haul cement, because we have a cement plant here in town, and they haul cement throughout the Great Lakes, not just around Michigan, but to Wisconsin, Duluth, Minnesota, New York, because there's a lot of Great Lakes, and it connects different states, different places in Canada, and they range anywhere from 400 feet to 1,000 feet. They're huge, and they're old, and it's like stepping back in time. Which one is this? Steamer J.B. Ford. One of them I know was built in the late 1800s. Most of them were probably built in the late 1800s. And when I tell people, my first husband, my uncle sailed on the boats. His stepdad sailed on the boats, and it's what's called a legacy job, and I'll talk more about this when I flip through. But through my uncle, my husband was able to get a job on the boats, and in this area it's one of the best paying jobs out there, but it's dangerous, and it's scary, and it's dirty, and it's not glamorous in any way, shape, or form. And when you get on one of these boats, it's just like stepping back in time, because everything is still from the 1800s. I'll show you quick. One of the staterooms. This is the third mate's cabin, but it's got all that old wood and the old wiring. That's the light. That's your sleeping light. Everything has to be battened down. Everything's got to be sturdy and well attached, because, shit goes sideways on Superior. And this quadruple expansion engine on the EM Ford, which is one of quote-unquote our boats here in town. My uncle sailed on the EM Ford for a long time, and my uncle is featured in this book. Isn't that fantastic? My uncle is in here. They call him Captain Integrity or Mr. Integrity, because he's just a good man. He's just an amazing guy. And he was interviewed extensively for this book and featured. Well, when my husband was on the boats and this book came out, I got him a copy of this book and gave it to my uncle, and had him go around to all the people that he knew on the boats who are in here, and had them all sign it for my husband. Unfortunately, husband and I split, and the book went with him, which it should. It was a gift to him, and he treasured it. But I've never had one of my own. It's a $60 book. I got it for free at the library's free table. And I could not be more excited. Unfortunately, my uncle has left this company. He doesn't work with this company. He moved up from he's one of the youngest captains on the Great Lakes. He worked his way up from deckhand, and I'll tell more about that when I do the flip through the book. But he is now what they call a Great Lakes pilot, meaning when salties come through, and that is a boat that comes in from the ocean but has to traverse the Great Lakes to get to instead of going all the way around, they cut through the Great Lakes as a shortcut. But the Great Lakes are treacherous. There are some places that are so narrow the boats barely fit through. They're just these little channels, and you got to know where the big rocks are and where the shipwrecks are and all of the treacherous points. And so what happens by law, when a ocean freighter comes into one of our Great Lakes, a Great Lakes pilot has to get onto that boat, and that pilot trumps the boat's captain. Of course, the captain is the captain unless there's a pilot on board. And when the pilot's on board, what he says goes, because he knows the ins and outs. My uncle has been on the Great Lakes since he was 16. He knows them like nobody's business. And so he's worked with people from all over the world, and they all want to show their gratitude. Of course, he gets paid quite well to do what he does, but all the captains and the deckhands and the mates. Everybody wants to show him their gratitude. And so he has a collection of the highest end liquors and whiskeys and vodkas from all over the world. They just think that that's the way. And so he's got a collection that hell wouldn't have. No one could drink that much. He doesn't drink much, but he likes a good sip of whiskey now and again. But he has a collection that is pretty impressive. Anyway, I look forward to flipping through this book with you on a Flip Through Friday coming to a YouTube channel near you. That is my Thrifty Thursday for you. I hope that you found some inspiration here. Check your library. If they don't have a free table, ask them to. I am going to... Amy at Doki Doki Forest is lucky enough where she can visit 3 or 4 libraries in her immediate area. We only have one in the region, and, well, there are others in the region, but they're a good hour drive in any direction to get to another library. So I'm going to... Her libraries, all of them have a magazine swap area, and she's getting just the craziest cool bunch of magazines for free from the library. I'm going to call those libraries, see how they work theirs, and ask my library to do the same. So if your library doesn't have a free table or a book swap area, you might just give them a call and ask them if they'll consider it. Because free is the best thrifty I know. It doesn't get any better than that. There's plenty of free stuff out there. Even if your library doesn't give away free stuff, ask your friends and family. Pick up brochures where they are free. Ask your friends and family for old magazines, old brochures, because it's all loaded with goodies for your junk journaling adventure. You have a lovely, lovely crafty day. Please take care of your beastlies. If they're looking at you for attention, stop what you're doing for just a few minutes and scoop them up and love them up, because you never know what tomorrow's going to bring. My Tick at the Lake. Out for now.